A very wonderful Monday night, everybody. Chris McDonald with you. We're grateful to have everybody on a very historic and prophetic night here in the world, in the Middle East. And I tell you, we ain't had this old guy on in a long time. Emphasis on guy, not old. But the one and only, comicallyincorrect.com, Tony Branco is in the house with us tonight. It is so good to see you, buddy. How you doing, man?
Good to see you. Thank you for having me on.
Well, it's a pleasure, Tony. We're grateful, and it's been a very emotional day, I think, for the entire world, not just for Israel. And we witnessed something with these hostages coming home that, you know, I have to tell you, I watched this peace initiative start last week, but I had this pit in my stomach all weekend because it seemed like they kept pushing the release date back and back and back. And when I was up this morning around 2:30 in the morning, I couldn't sleep almost because of it. And I was watching the first 7. There were 7 of them that was released first. And I said, well, maybe this actually is going to happen today. And sure enough, by 9 o'clock Israeli time, or 9 o'clock our time, it was probably about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, they had released all 20 of the living hostages. What was your emotions about all this morning? Mine was elation. I've got some, we'll talk about the peace deal itself, but as far as the hostages go, it's a wonderful night for Israel. These families, Absolutely. These hostages, and that I want to really highlight because the human toll of this has been deep. And we've got finally some good news to report on that tonight. The hostages are free.
Absolutely. I really feel for the hostages and their family. I have no idea what they went through. It must have been pure hell. There was CNN, a reporter on CNN said that they were probably treated better than the Palestinians were. Something along
that's Miss Emma,
and they treated
Emma
their own
Moore.
people because they were chips, or they were bargaining chips, so they had to keep them healthy. Well, I don't think that's true.
Well,
but no, we have to compartmentalize all this. We're glad that the hostages are released. We're glad about that. Now, and that's a big one. And we have to give Trump, and everybody has to give Trump, and even some leftists are regrettably giving Trump credit for the attempt at what he's trying to do, because nobody's really gotten this far before. And Obama and Hillary both have to eat crow. A lot of Democrats have to eat crow. Some of them are commending the peace process that's happening without mentioning Trump's name. That's what a lot of Democrats are doing. But like I said, we have to compartmentalize it. It's in stages. This is, I think, the first or second stage of the process. And we'll keep our fingers crossed. On a secular level, we know how this all makes sense. But on a religious, prophetic prophecy level, if you read the Bible, it doesn't work out too well.
I know.
But doesn't mean we don't try.
I couldn't agree with that statement more, and everything you just said, I agree. And I'll tell you somebody else that I've been noticing that's not said a word is Bush Jr. It was his father, Bush Sr., that really started this push, Tony, this Land for Peace initiative that started way back in the early 90s. Reagan had tried it a little bit, but Reagan saw the futility of it, and he backed away from it. Carter, of course, strong-armed Menachem Begin and Anwar Sadat into this gutless peace accords. Got a freaking Nobel Peace Prize for it. Obama got a Peace Prize for just showing up for work and being supposedly a black man.
Well, no, he hadn't showed up yet.
Yeah, he hadn't showed up yet. Yeah, exactly. They gave it him before he even showed up. But every time America has tried to fix the Middle East, Israel gets screwed, we get screwed, the world gets screwed. And I'm not trying to take anything away from President Trump's efforts tonight. I'm going to make it clear. I'm like you. We got to try. But we're not dealing, this is a different monster than any other region of the world. You know, it's funny that he's tried so hard to get Russia and Ukraine to the table, and he can't do it. And it strikes me as being real weird that he's got the most hardcore enemies now with Israel and the Palestinians, at least the Hamas leadership, the Gazan leadership, to come together. And now Turkey, Egypt, Qatar, and other nations are involved. But Bush Jr. has also not said a lot about this. And it was his daddy that started this garbage trying to make Israel give up her land for peace. It never worked. And I'd like to hear from him because I think he should give Trump some credit. That's just me. What's your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think he should. We should at least hear from him and get his take on it. But it just comes down to the fact that that world is a tinderbox. It has been ever since Israel came into play in the 40s, late 40s, I believe, 48. And you have so many different factions that are at play here. We don't know if Netanyahu is going to sabotage us, or somebody in the Palestine or any other country will plans to sabotage us, because it's so thin. It could erupt at any moment and just go away. And that's why it takes a lot of prayer. If this is in God's will, which I'm hoping it is, at least for the short term.
Absolutely.
So
I'm with you, and I think you said it right there, because that was the sentiment of my family this weekend. I talked to my brother; he's retired Air Force, and we're on the same page with this, because I really believe that even if they strike a deal, even because it's in the process right now, even if they strike a deal, it's short term at best. Because I just don't see a lot of this. The easy part was today. Getting these hostages home was, I don't think Hamas had a choice, because it was either that or oblivion. But
they also released 1,900 Hamas terrorists.
20, actually it's 2,000. Yeah.
Yeah. 2,000. So doesn't sound like a great deal to me. But if it means peace and it extends itself to peace, I'm all for it.
I'm with you. Let me ask you something about Qatar. When I first last week heard the players that were getting together in Egypt to come around the table, I almost felt like it was the fox protecting the hen house, because I'm going to be honest with you. I think Qatar was behind 10-7. I think that they were the money that gave Hamas the funds to build up over the years. Because, Tony, I posted something today on Facebook, and it's been just churning in my heart, churning in my spirit all day long. It was churning in my spirit last night. You can't fix hatred in a heart by a piece of paper. And no matter how much the Arab world says they want peace, no matter how much they say, well, we're willing to get along with Israel, no matter how much they say what they say with their mouth, that religion of Islam that controls that part of the world, it is called the 1040 window for a reason. And I'm telling you, you can't just take that out of the heart by laying a piece of paper down and then signing it and saying, okay, we're going to have peace. Because the same ideology that led to 10-7 is in the hearts of these nations. And that is my take. And I have to say, I know President Trump is trying to do his best, and we were sort of talking about this before the show. He's got a spiritual advisory board, and I don't know who he's listening to right now, but I would no more trust these Arabs than I could throw them out this window, and that window is sitting right here in front of me. That's just my opinion.
That's good opinion. It all goes back to trust but verify.
Right.
And if Trump has a way, and if he set up a system to where it's trust but verify, maybe he has a system there, and I think it has something to do, and this is my hunch, but I think it has something to do with finances. I think it has to do with a lot of money, and a vision for the area, to where the Palestinians feel like they're going to benefit and they're going to make out really well, and the Arab nations around there, if the Arab nations around there think it's better for them that there's peace in that area, and that the Palestinians and Israel are getting along, or at least able to coexist in the same area, they can make it happen, and they can stop the terrorist funding, and they can stop all the the stuff that's causing it to happen. So within that plan, that might exist. I don't know. I'm not part of the organization there, but that's what I'm hoping for, is that Palestinians say, we're tired of dying, and this plan looks pretty good. It'll benefit our people, and we can thrive and live into the future and fight another day. But in the meantime, everything's going to work out in the interim.
What did you think of Turkey's president, Erdogan? I can never say his name, but Erdogan. We Southern rednecks. We Southern rednecks have a problem with these other names. But anyway, I think he let the cat out of the bag today when he told Sisi of Egypt, Sisi, whatever his name is, that if Benjamin Netanyahu was on that plane, because Trump, when he gave the great speech to the Knesset, I'm going to talk with you a little bit about that, but he gave that great speech, he gets on a plane to Egypt, and Erdogan calls Sisi up and says, if Benjamin Netanyahu is on that plane with Trump, you turn that plane around, because I'm not coming. You know what? If I would have been the president of the United States, if I'd have been the president of Egypt, I'd have told Erdogan, keep your blank in Turkey. Because, you know something? Benjamin Netanyahu's got to be part of this because he's the prime minister of Israel. Who in the heck are you going to deal with in Israel? Bozo the clown? Come on.
Unless Trump thought that there was a way for Netanyahu to be a part of it without him being there, and the whole thing hinged on Erdogan being there, I can see the diplomatic angle. Trump isn't one to be bullied or pushed around, so I'm gonna trust Trump on this one.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't know. You're right. You don't want to blow up the entire process that's happening, and you're on the verge of a peace, and then all of a sudden go, nah, we're done. I could see why.
But go ahead.
Why he would go that way.
No, keep going. You're fine. But I will tell you this: you're making my argument, and I'll tell you why. Because at some point, Erdogan and Netanyahu are gonna have to talk. They've got if this is gonna work, if Turkey's gonna do what they say they're gonna do, if Egypt says they're gonna do what they say they're gonna do, if the Saudis, I was listening to Ansley, soon to be Hannity this morning, and she brought a good point up. I don't put a lot of stock in Fox News, but she made an excellent point about the Saudis. She said there's a lot of 9/11 victims, their families that perished in 9/11, and it's pretty much a given common wisdom that the Saudis were basically financing these hijackers. I know it was a different generation, and this younger generation has not had the same.
But a different section of the Saudis. It wasn't all the Saudis. It wasn't the entire government. It was a sect or a part of it that was dealing behind the back. So you don't throw the whole country out before what.
Well, and I guess what my point is, my question to you is, are you confident, though, that all of these players with all of these sects and all of these little divisions and all these animosities and these hatreds and these axes to grind, and again, you throw Islam into this, and look, I'm just a South Georgia boy. If the Arab world wanted to solve the Palestinian crisis, Israel's got a land the size of New Jersey tonight. The Arab world owns 3/4 of the freaking Middle East, man. You're talking 5,000, 6,000 miles of territory. Do you not believe they could take 2 million Palestinians and put them up? They got the money. They got the oil money. The Arab world could solve this. They could have solved this for 40 freaking years, Tony. They've not done it. It's not about Israel, and I'm going to tell you one other thing how I know that. The Hamas terrorists are slaughtering the Gazan people tonight. You know why? Because they believe that they've been cooperating with the IDF. I haven't seen one protest today in Columbia. I've not seen one protest at Harvard. I've not seen one protest at Notre Dame. I've not seen one protest at Yale or any of the other Ivy League schools or all these illiterate liberal puke colleges that think they're so smarter than all of us out here. I've not seen one person on CNN decry the genocide that's going on in Gaza tonight, and there is one going on tonight. The Gazan people are being slaughtered. And the way I look at it, there's a lot of Gazan citizens that helped Hamas do what they did on October the 7th.
Yes, yes, exactly. Of course, CNN, MSNBC, and CBS, and ABC, and PBS, and NPR are not going to report on the slaughter. So a lot of people won't even know about it. I didn't even know about it right now, and I'm always looking at things and reading, and so if that's going on, which I'm sure if you saw it, it probably is. I wouldn't put it past it. They've done it before. They've shot people trying to get food and all that. So, which is a shame. But we're getting back to whether or not this is a workable plan. All parties have to be in agreement. All parties have to benefit in some way from this process. And if that's the case, if they all benefit, and the benefits outweigh the slaughtering and the killing, maybe we've got something.
I'm not going to disagree with that.
That's what I'm hoping for in the short term. So, I don't know. It's always been confusing to me, that whole area. I have friends that hate Israel. They don't hate Israel. They hate Netanyahu. They claim that Israel is slaughtering Jews and they're doing a genocide. And you try to have a debate with them, and they're like debating a liberal, even though they're conservative-minded most part. It's hard to penetrate it, because they got it made up in their mind that Israel or the Israeli government are the bad guys conducting a genocide against the Palestinian people. And my retort to that has always been, how many times do you have to be attacked over and over again before you respond in a heavy way? They lost 12,000 people October 7th.
Yeah.
And what are they supposed to do about that? Just sit back and just say, okay, go back to your houses. We'll be okay now. Everything's fine. We'll just go back to the way it were. No, there's a large section of Israel government that doesn't want to allow that to happen.
Well, let me just say this, just to add to what you're saying, not even change it. If you attack somebody like Hamas attacked Israel, I hate to tell the Arab world, and I hate to tell CNN and all these liberal pukes and these conservative pukes, because there's a few of those running around tonight too, that you don't get to dictate to Israel how she responds. I'm sorry, Tony, that was the most barbaric attack we've seen this century since the Holocaust. I mean, I still tonight, there's a comment in the YouTube chat, and the lady, Debbie, you're absolutely right. It's bittersweet today for these hostages. Look, we get 20 back. 28 are dead. We're trying to get these 28 bodies. There's 48 total that still were unaccounted for, even 2 years into this. So we get the 20 live ones back. 28 ones, we're trying to find the bodies. It still does not nothing but put a Band-Aid on what happened on October the 7th. 1,200 people, Tony, got slaughtered. They just didn't get killed. This wasn't some errant bomb that went off in a city. This wasn't some errant missile attack. This was hand-to-hand, house-to-house, butchering, slaughtering, raping, burning, cutting heads off, killing kids, burning them in ovens, slaughtering babies, and 13,000 injured, and then again the emotional trauma and the terror that will probably live with the southern Israeli citizens for the rest of their lives. And here we are tonight, and the media just acts like the Israelis were treated well in the camps, they were treated pretty good. Are you kidding me? And that's CNN's crap. That lady, Amapour, she's nothing but a Hamas spokesman anyway. They need to just change her name, but they need to fire her sorry backside. And I got another word for that. But as we say, this is a family show, Branco. Keep it clean.
No, you just have to contrast this with how would we feel if Mexico was constantly lobbing missiles into California or Arizona or Texas or New Mexico? How would we feel about that? What would our response be? What if hundreds of Mexicans or Mexicans from Mexico got in paragliders and machine guns and landed in cities along our border and hacked off our kids' heads, attacked a concert with a bunch of kids, shot 12,000 of them, 2,000 of them, or whatever. How would we respond to that, and what would be the response to that? I mean, you have to put it side by side. We wouldn't tolerate it.
Well,
we would go in full bore, and people would pay the price.
I put it like this: you hope we wouldn't tolerate it, but with this bunch, now I'm saying if Trump was in office, I wouldn't have no question how to answer that. I would answer that real strongly.
Yeah, with this bunch. Yeah.
But with this liberal bunch, these Democrats, you know what they'd have done? They'd have had a conference on whether climate change caused the terrorists to cut our heads off.
Yeah,
they would have some kind of weird conference that, well, you know, or their pronouns are they and them, and we have discriminated against the transgender community up here, and that's why they got mad at us and they cut our heads off because we didn't believe in they and them.
You need to have some understanding. You know, maybe they didn't have a good childhood, or
that's exactly what we do.
Yeah.
That's what we do. But I will tell you something else. I will put it to you like this. I believe that your scenario, if we don't stop entertaining the devil, and we don't stop shaking hands with the devil, and stop thinking the devil ain't going to hit us, and the enemy of Israel are not our enemies, and we keep patting them on the back and giving them a wink and saying, you know, we're gonna have you play. We're not going to let Israel run over you. When Israel don't run over you, they run over Israel, and we're going to keep messing around with this bunch, Tony, and they are going to come over here. They're going to find their way over here eventually, and that's just me. They're already here. I mean, they're already here.
Yeah, they're already here, and they're not up to any good. They're not compatible with our Constitution or our way of life. Sharia law, Muslim understanding is totally the antithesis of our understanding of laws through the Constitution. They're just biding their time. We have enclaves in Minnesota and Michigan where basically if you're a Christian, you're not allowed there, or on their city council. And we just sit by. Texas is having these cities, these utopic cities, Arab cities, I don't remember what you call them.
Right.
But they don't even have to abide by the building code standards. And Texas, conservative bastion, is allowing a lot of this just to go on. You know, they're afraid that they're going to be called a racist. I don't know, but
I don't know either, buddy. Well, let me just say this, and we'll move on to a few other things. And I'm not going to keep you much longer. But you've been great coming on tonight. I just so appreciate you. But
thank you.
What did you think about the Gazans starting that cafe? See, these little things like this, the media just glosses over. It's wonderful that X has become such a look. If Elon Musk has not done everything else than bring big balls to the government and remove the censorship from X, those are the two greatest things that Elon Musk has ever done. Mm-hmm. But X people, the people on X have been showing this cafe in the Gaza Strip, and the name of the cafe is Cafe Nova. And that was started this week, just this week. It wasn't to honor the Israeli victims. It was to honor the fact that Hamas killed the Israeli victims, and 80, I would say 60 to 80% of those victims happened at Nova Music Conference. That Nova Music Festival is where a lot of this butchery started. That's a direct slap in the face. And again, I can't stress this enough. Look, I have got nothing. I have got no sympathy tonight for the people of Gaza. I'm sorry. I do not. They brought this on themselves. They attacked Israel first. You do this butchery, you are going to be attacked. I'll give anybody the argument that this maybe shouldn't have went on as long as it had, but the reason it went on as long as it had, Tony, is the freaking media and governments like Joe Biden and other nations tying Israel's hands every time this happens, and they're telling Israel, your response is too inhumane. And they never talk about what was done to them as being inhumane.
Yeah.
I think Bibi could have cleaned Hamas out in 6 months if he'd have just been told, go do your job. I am not going to say a word. Do it. Do it. Am I wrong on that?
Yeah. I can't add to that. That's exactly right. I mean, you can't lob missiles from daycare centers, hospitals, schools continuously and not expect them to throw the missiles back where they're being launched from. That's just military. But see, Hamas does it purposely because they know how the media is going to portray it.
Oh, I know.
And
That's
you're fighting an enemy that doesn't care about their people whatsoever.
Yeah.
They don't. Doesn't matter how many that get killed. They kill They kill their own people themselves, let alone Israel killing them. And most of the civilians that are killed because of where they're at when they launch those missiles, and some of them are killed by Hamas themselves. So I'm with you on that.
It makes my heart good that Tony Branco's with me on this. Trust me on that, man. There's other things I'd love to talk to you about. I do want to ask you a question. Do you think, how does this play with Trump here in the country? And the reason I'm asking that, there's a growing anti-Israel sentiment that is raging on the social media platforms. You got high-level voices, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson. There's other, Steve Peters. He's always been just so hateful about Israel. And Tony, I got to say this, and I've got dear friends and family. I've been shocked. I have to tell you, I've been shocked at the input that I've gotten about the situation from their perspective as it relates to Israel. People that I would never think that would fall for this hook, line, and sinker. Israel's evil, Bibi's Israel. And I will tell you this, I do not personally believe if Bibi Netanyahu resigned tonight and stepped aside, that the same people that tell me, well, we only hate Bibi, we don't hate the Jews, we don't hate Israel, but we can't stand Bibi. I guarantee you if Bibi Netanyahu was to step aside and another Israeli leader stepped in, they'd feel the same way. They feel the same way. And
I think so.
I think it's a ruse. I think it's bull. You know why? I think it's crap. It's just to hide their bigotry and their hatred. They got to find a scapegoat. It's nothing but junk. But my question to you is, Trump, he's already, even on the right, there's these little sects, there's these factions that are out there. And the mega community tonight is not really united. It's never been united. We got midterms coming up, man, and our government being shut down right now should tell us that we got to get super majorities in this House and Senate. We just do, because the majority we got right now, the Republicans, they're a bunch of scumbags too, but their hands are tied. Look, Mike Johnson has pleasantly surprised me with some things he's done. I think he's been a better speaker than most people have given him credit for. But there has got to be a come to Jesus meeting with the Republican Party. They got to win these midterms. Do you think this plays well, or do you think this wing of the MAGA party that's going in crazy, and Marjorie Taylor Greene's lost her natural pick and cotton mind because she's splitting off. She's no longer a real strong voice of conservatism like she used to be. What's your thoughts on this? How does this play in America with all this that's happened today? Most Americans that got a brain understand the dynamics, but there's a lot of them out there that don't.
Yeah. Well, I think part of the idea of the left is to convolute everything so you don't really understand it fully. I think it behooves everybody to be on the side of Israel. Like you said before when we've talked, that Israel is the only country in the Middle East that is our ally, true ally. You can pay off these Arab countries for so long before they start turning on you. As long as we have something to benefit the Arabs, they'll be fine. But to keep in mind that their ideas and their way of life is antithetical to what we believe as far as a way of life goes. And eventually it's going to come on us. And if we don't have Israel, Israel's kind of like a little buffer there. It's a way of checking the temperature of surrounding countries. Turkey used to be Christian, It's now gone Muslim.
Totally Muslim.
And Syria used to be more Christian. Egypt, all these countries, neighboring countries, were never as much Arab as they were. They were Christian, Jewish, Arab mixture, but now they've all gone to be Muslim countries now. And Israel is kind of standing in the way to that. To me, it's okay. It's okay to some degree to question things that are going on in Israel's government. You can question Netanyahu if you want to, but you can't question Israel's vital importance of being there. It is their homeland, in spite of what they say, Zionists or whatever. It has been for 2,000 or 3,000 years, and I believe that. And there's a lot of irrefutable evidence to support that.
But you know, Tony, the thing that you're saying is so true, and I hate to even ask this question, but what would the world be? Because see, the world has convinced, the devil has convinced people. I'll say it's him. He's convinced people that the world would be a better place if we didn't have Israel in this world. He's convinced Christians that. He's convinced social media platforms of that. He's convinced politicians of that. That if we just get rid of Israel, the world will be at peace. That Israel's the cancer in the Middle East, that if we'll get rid of Israel, then the world just get along with each other. And he has done a masterful job. And it's just the opposite. If Israel goes away, brother, you got no buffer for Islam to run roughshod over the world, not just the Middle East.
You've got Britain is being overrun by Muslims.
Thank you.
The number one newborn name in London is Muhammad.
Yes.
Sweden, same thing. Germany, same thing. All of these Western countries are being infiltrated through immigration, illegal, most of it illegal, and the upper echelons of the governments there are just allowing it to happen and have no foresight into what that means for their country and their culture. So it's a world issue. It's happening in the United States, and maybe not to the level that Britain is going through, or Germany, or Sweden, or Norway, or any of those other places, but it's happening, and it's incremental, and we're going to suffer, and we're going to suffer big. And I believe I got to go back to what God's plan is, and I believe God has a plan for Israel. He has a plan for the world, and doesn't mean we can't do what we have to do or try to do to make peace, but we need to be vigilant.
Amen.
A world may be coming to where we're forced to choose between death and Christ if we keep going down this road.
Amen. I couldn't have said that any better. Speaking of adding anything to it, I couldn't add anything to that what you just said. It is going to come down to us and Christ, Tony. Honestly, I think that this is, if there's anything that's happening tonight, it is drawing the lines in the sand between those of faith and those without faith. Look, I'm with you. I'm a Bible teacher, and I know where Israel is spiritually tonight. She's not in a good place, and she's not going to be in a good place until Christ comes back. And I will tell you this, the Middle East is not in a good place. I know that everybody's taking victory laps and Trump's making grand promises, and I love President Trump. I think he'd be better off right now to be be optimistic, but he needs to be cautious, because these predictions of grand peace and a golden age of peace, a golden age of faith, a golden age of this, and we've been waiting for this for 3,000 years. Brother, let me tell you something. We're going to be waiting a lot longer, too. I don't think that this is going to be the cure-all for the problems of the Middle East. This is a spiritual matter tonight, what's going on.
I believe that.
This is a spiritual issue.
Thing. But my hope is that God is working through our leader, Trump. That,
yes.
He's using his ability. Because like they said, nobody else could do this, get us this far along this road without Trump. Trump is he's a consequential leader in our time, and been tried many times before by other leaders, and they didn't have the chutzpah or the ability or the strength to do it, and Trump is doing it.
Well, let me just say
trying.
this. To your point, one of the hostages today came home and told his family that they heard conversations among the Hamas terrorists that they were scared of Trump. And they said, we're doing this. We've got to let the hostages go because we can't fight Trump. They were bragging that they were working within our government, within our country last year to get Kamala Harris elected. I don't doubt that.
No,
I don't doubt that. Because I will tell you this.
China, Iran, Russia, everybody was working behind the scenes to get Kamala arrested.
Yeah. We need that too. Yeah.
They were trying to get her as the president of the United States. And fortunately, it didn't work out that way.
Other subject real quick. We'll make this a quick 5-minute quickie hit. Fire hit on these. Governments, how long does this shutdown last? Does the Republicans cave or the Democrats cave?
Boy, you got me, because the Democrats are crazy. They're sick. And they're beyond any kind of hope as far as being reasonable in any way.
Right.
Okay, the way I look at the Democrats, they're on the bottom.
Yeah, that's true.
They have nowhere to go. So they're just, might as well just keep digging, And the Republicans, it's kind of like the Solomon baby thing, where the mom comes forth and says, Solomon said, well, I'll cut the baby in half and give you each a half of the baby. Well, the mom, who was the real mother, jumped forward and said, just give her the baby. Give her, she can have the baby, because she didn't want any harm to come. That's how he knew that it was the real mother.
Yeah.
And the Republicans don't want to keep the government shut down. What they'll do, I don't know.
That's a good point. Didn't you find it rich today that England and France were trying to take a victory lap in this, when all they did was basically undercut the whole Gaza situation, calling for the Palestinian state here a month or two ago? Those two nations, Starmer and Macron, I have never seen two more bumbling idiots run two nations like those two. And England has had some bad leaders, but I have to say, Starmer, he's right up there at my number one, Mr. Branco.
Because they're not leading. They're taking orders from somebody.
Yes, they are.
They're being led.
That's a good point.
They don't have Trump. Nobody's leading Trump. Trump is the leader. He has a team around him where he gets ideas, and they sit around and discuss this way or that way as far as a plan, program, getting insight. But Trump makes the decision. He decides, him alone. And then you have these other leaders who I believe are just nothing but puppets, and being strung along by some higher order, globalism. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because none of them are doing what's best for their people.
I'll agree with that, buddy. I'll agree.
Britain isn't doing what's best for his people. He kick all those Arabs out of there. And France, same thing. Any of them aren't doing what's best for their people. They're doing what's best for something else.
Yeah.
So.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Well, listen, I do want to get you back on, because I know you hadn't had time to cartoon. Like you told me before the show, I had to giggle. You said this mess in the Middle East is so complicated, even Tony Branco can't put a cartoon to it.
Well, I'll come up with something.
I had to laugh.
Until I get it sorted out, I can't really pin,
If Tony Branco can't put a cartoon to it, it's one messed up situation. That's all I got to say, man. I'm just telling you.
What's the world coming to?
What's the world coming to?
The ending. I can't do a cartoon.
The world is coming to an end. I do want to show one that has to do with Comey. I think this is funny. It's got the snake biting him in the backside. Where he is right there. I didn't mean to put it on your face there, but lawfare against Trump, and then the snake comes out and justice is biting him. Do you think him or Letitia James are either one's going to get jail time?
In this environment and where the trials are going to be held, I have no idea. The grand jury has deemed it reasonable to have a trial, which says a lot, that there's actually evidence of a crime, and that needs to be adjudicated. So I'm thinking there's a possibility, but I think we're just scratching this very thin surface, and I think this is all leading to something else. Some more stuff is going to come down the line. In fact, I think Trump's getting a little impatient with Bondi.
I do too.
with Schiff and some of these other people.
The J6 committee. That J6 committee, some of them have got immunity, some don't. But I hear Bolton's name is coming up this week. There's going to be charges against John Bolton. And I just think the dominoes are hopefully about to fall. Roger Hooker asked a question. I'm going to wrap it up on this with you. Is there any mechanism that you see for justice for these 10-7 victims of Hamas? I sadly do not see it. I do not believe that there's going to be much they can do. It's sick. It's disgusting. There needs to be justice. There shouldn't be Hamas terrorists on the face of this freaking earth. My brother's a pretty peaceful kind of guy. He's sort of settled in his demeanor. Not like his brother, who's wired up. It's a good thing Chris ain't president tonight. It's a good thing that Donald John Trump is president. Because Chris would have already put a hole in Gaza the size of freaking Smokey. I'd have had about 6 mountains worth of holes in Gaza had this been me. But I'm just saying.
It'd be the Gulf of Gaza.
It would have been the Gulf of Gaza. But his question is not a bad one. Do you think there's any hope for justice for these victims, Tony? I'm afraid to say no.
Well, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. So
that's true. Eventually there will be. But that's a good point. Buddy, I appreciate you. Love you much. You're a good guy. Hey, I want you to get back here for a couple of weeks, get some cartoons together. When you get your head around all this crazy Middle East stuff. And I'm still waiting for the new 2025, McDonald version, of your cartoon. That dumbfoolery is past, but we got to freshen that up. And it's elementary, my dear Watson. That's my.
Oh, did you want me to add a few more wrinkles to it?
Yeah, you can please add a few more wrinkles. Please do, because there have been a few more wrinkles since that cartoon. Trust me on that. But I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. And
thank you, sir.
ComicallyIncorrectEverybody.com. I'm gonna get you on soon. We'll get you back. Thank you for answering the bell tonight. I know you with your family tonight. I appreciate you being with me. Man. God bless Tony. Tony Branco, everybody, put some fire in that house for him. That's a good man right there. That is a good man right there, and I'm grateful that he's with us tonight. I'm going to see if I may have waited a little late. Miller's got to get up in the morning and go to work. I hope he'll give me about 10, 15 minutes with him. Let's see. He is going to answer. I'm glad you didn't go to bed yet. I'm sorry, man, for being a little late. It's good to see you tonight. How are you? Jason Miller, everybody.
I'm doing good.
Good to see you, buddy. Listen, big news today in the Middle East, and you are, dear friend, I wanted to get your take on these hostages. When you saw these hostages come home today, what was you thinking and what was you feeling, man? It was a great day for Israel with the hostages saved. We'll get more into that in a minute, but at least for the families, Jason, it's been a wonderful day in the world. Not just Israel and America. It's been a wonderful day for this entire world.
Well, it has, and we're certainly thanking the Lord today for their safe return back to their families. And certainly, and I don't know how the weather was up there in Knoxville, but here in the Nashville area, it was absolutely gorgeous weather today. And I kind of thought about that, maybe that relation there. And of course, I'm sure you saw that the stock market really went through the roof today.
It did. I'm glad it did, because I've been sort of playing around with that over the last 6 to 8 months, thanks to my buddy Chris Allman. And Chris has had a wonderful day at the stock market. I did notice that. First thing this morning, man.
Well, there you go. So yeah, I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse those who curse you, and that's still alive to this day.
Jason, why do you think, I was talking to Branco before you came on, why do you think people think Israel is so evil, and that they think that if Israel was to go away, that the world would be a better place? It's just the opposite, man. Israel is the reason. I'm not saying it's about Israel, but what came from Israel, our Lord and Savior, the Bible, the prophets, the apostles, a great deal of the good that this earth has experienced has come because of the nation of Israel and the lineage of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And but why is it that the devil has convinced people wrongly? But he's convinced a lot of people that if Israel went away, that the world's problems would cease. It would be just the opposite.
Yeah, it's the same reason that he convinced Adam and Eve to eat this fruit off this tree. It didn't work out so well. yeah, it's just he's a deceiver, he's a liar, and people, I don't know.
Hang on just a second. We may have lost Jason there. Let me see if we can get him back. I'm having these mountains are not the best. Yeah, we're going to have to call him back. It's going to, let me, give me 1 minute here, folks. We're grateful everybody's with us tonight. Let me try this again. And let me try this again. Let me see if you can answer this time. We lost you at Satan is the deceiver, so keep going from there.
Yeah, sorry about that. He's a deceiver, he's a liar, and this is exactly what he does. He deceives people, and so that's what we're seeing today. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask you, buddy. I know that it's been a good day for the hostages, but I think the harder sell, the most difficult part of this whole thing begins. It begins today in Egypt, but I think it's tomorrow getting the Hamas terrorists to let down their arms and to get out of Gaza fully. I think is going to be a tougher sell than people think. And I will tell you that even if this produces a season of peace, that's all it's going to be, man. It's going to be a season. It's not going to be long term.
Yeah, the only reason that Hamas is agreeing to this really is so they can regroup with all their terrorists. They've got, I think they got back, what they say, 2,000.
Yeah, they got 2,000 prisoners.
2,000 and versus 20 Israelis that are alive, and so that's literally 100 to 1, right?
Right.
100 Hamas per one Israeli. Now that's quite a deal, isn't it? So, the word Hamas means violence.
It does mean violence, yes.
Yeah, I wish we would stop calling them Hamas and just call them what they are, violence.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very difficult for violence or Hamas to operate without weapons. So they're not laying down their weapons, Chris.
No, I don't believe they are. I think that they've already had a contingency plan. Look, I think this group is, and I was sharing this earlier tonight, Jason. I don't think we've ever seen the barbarism and the most. What happened 2 years ago has been the most barbaric act of terrorism this world has seen since the Holocaust itself. Look, 9/11. It was a horrible thing that happened on 9/11, but the 9/11 terrorist attacks affected 3 buildings. It affected the Pentagon, affected the World Trade Centers, and that plane out in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. This was house-to-house butcherism, barbarism, butchering, beheading, raping, murder, kids in ovens. I mean, parents witnessing their kids being beheaded, man. This is something that I've never seen in my lifetime. Not up close like this. And I'm not Jewish. I wasn't there, man. But just watching it from afar, it still makes me sick to my stomach tonight talking about this 2 years later, man.
Oh, yeah, you're exactly right. This is the most barbaric act we've ever seen. And literally since the Holocaust. And there was things that I heard, and I'm sure you did as well, that I don't even think I even heard during the Holocaust. I heard that they were literally making their spouses watch as they were doing this to their spouses.
They were. Makes sense. They did.
I'm trying to keep this a family show tonight, but
they did.
But yeah, and just making them watch. This is just like you said, barbaric acts like we have never seen. It's pure demonic, and now anybody can support that over Israel is beyond me.
Well, I know that Branco made a good point that the vengeance may have to come divinely, because I don't think there's going to be any kind of closure for these victims, the 1,200 that are dead, the families. Jason, look, we're fortunate. These families that got these 20 hostages back tonight, I mean this with all due respect to these families. They better be very grateful. And I know they are. I know they're thanking the God of heaven. Some of these videos today, man, I tell you, when that father that was in that wheelchair, I was watching a lot of these reunions, and it was I could feel the joy in my heart and the sort of the feeling of elation. But when that dad that was in that wheelchair got up and he started crying, and the way he cried for that son, man, that's when I was bawling like a baby. I was bawling watching him do that, because I think every father out there that gets a son back from something like this can understand how he feels. And those emotions, Jason, I don't think we understand those here in America, and I think we better start understanding it, because this could very well be coming to our shore if we keep dancing with the devil in the Middle East.
Well, Chris, I think it's already here. I think we just, I heard we just opened up our first Middle East, help me out, air base or something?
Yeah, the air base in Idaho. We're doing joint Qatari air, and that's the first time this ever happened on our own soil, that they brought a Qatari Air Force jet over here, and it's out in Idaho somewhere. I'm with you right there. We're opening the door.
I just cannot believe that we would do something like that.
I can't either.
And these are people that I admire. You know, I'm a huge Pete Hegseth fan, and of course Donald Trump fan. But we forget this is a global deception, and the Lord is just covering people's eyes. You know, but we've never had this in our country before. You know, I told you before that, you know, after 9/11, the last thing I thought we'd ever do was elect a Muslim president, and we did exactly 7 years later. After
we did.
If you'd have told me that would happen, I never would have believed it, and yet we did. So right in the middle of all this peace agreement, the same week we bring in Qatar to do an air base here in the United States. It's unbelievable.
That is unbelievable. I'm with you. When I heard that, I was shaking my head. My brother, he's a retired Air Force man, and I was like, bro, what in the you know what is the Air Force doing, man? Come on, man. And he didn't have an answer. He didn't have an answer. He said, I have no idea, because he was sort of shocked about the whole thing too. You know,
and of course, me and my little word plays, I like to look at things, and I've got a different working mind, I guess. But Qatar, Qatar backwards is RATAQ. It looks like our attack to me.
Looks like rat too.
It looks like rat, but I'm thinking more like our attack. Like our attack will come from Qatar, and it's just absolutely mind blowing that they're right here in our backyard now, and it's.
Do you believe that they were behind the money of 10/7? I have always believed that there was big money behind that attack, and the more I've watched this play out this week and last week, I'm beginning to believe, and I may be wrong, and I'm certainly not saying that I've got any actual hard proof about this, but I think you start connecting dots. Somebody paid Hamas a lot of money to do what they did, and look, it's not coincidence to me that President Trump made Bibi publicly apologize, and Bibi didn't care. Bibi, I was talking to somebody about that today, and they said, Bibi is willing. That didn't bother Bibi one bit. That it was water off a duck's back, because Bibi understands what he's dealing with. But it's amazing to me that we condemned Israel for attacking a hotel that was probably housing Hamas leadership, when we wasn't asking the real question, Jason. Me and you talked about this last week. Why wouldn't the you-know-what was Hamas terrorist leadership doing in Qatar in the first place?
Well, I think you just answered your own question right there, Chris. You're exactly right. Why would Hamas be hanging out with Qatar leadership?
Good point.
It's funny. I heard you and Tony Branco just a minute ago. You're talking about that they have a lot of different sects out there in those are Arab nations, right? SECTS, right? A lot of sects. Well, I don't know about you, but sex sounds like sex.
Right.
SECTS sounds a lot like SEX. And that's exactly what they're doing. That's kind of a relationship, isn't it?
It's a relationship issue, and they're producing. I know we're talking about spiritual. We're talking about this sort of symbolically, but Jason, they're basically, and Tony, to his credit tonight, we were joking about it a little bit before he came on. and he said that this this Middle East stuff is so messed up. He said it's pretty bad, man. He said I do cartoons all the time. He said I hadn't even been able to put a cartoon to this stuff. How bad it is. I mean that's if Tony Branco can't put a cartoon to it, nobody can put a cartoon to this. This is messed up.
Oh,
it's just messed up.
It is definitely messed up, and that's why it's going to depend on the Messiah to come back and clean up the mess.
That's beautiful.
And so, but that's the only person that's going to clean up this mess is the Messiah.
Jason, go ahead, buddy. Go ahead.
But going back to Qatar, they give President Trump a plane, and I've always said that they are hiding in plain sight with their plane, and it's just kind of funny that plane, I believe, was $400 million.
Yes.
And this week, we're actually today was the final day of the Sukkot, right?
It was,
which is the Feast of Tabernacles, and of course, the Feast of Tabernacles represents the 40 years that
Israel wandered in the wilderness.
That's exactly right. He protected them with a cloud. A cloud over the sun during the day, and of course a pillar of fire at night. And that was after they were in slavery for 400 years in Egypt under Pharaoh. So I just thought that's kind of funny. You got the 400 years of slavery in this $400 million plane from Qatar, and then all of a sudden now they're right here on our soil, Chris. I mean, within just a few months.
Jason, I'm going to tell you, it's amazing, and it's literally like letting our enemies in to do great damage. And I don't trust these. I'll let you chime in on this real quick. I won't keep you much longer. I know you got to get to rest for your work tomorrow, but I do want to ask you: do you trust these Arab players that was in Egypt today to do the right thing by Israel? I don't.
How do you know when an Arab is lying to you? Their lips are moving, Chris. How do you know when? Yeah, and how do you know the media's lying to you? Their lips are moving.
Yeah,
that's it. That is it. And I know that sounds terrible, but that's just a fact.
Well, what do you think of CNN, the Crap News Network today? Their wonderful correspondent, Miss Christiane Amanpour, who was basically a Hamas spokesman in a journalist dress, basically went out there today and said that these hostages in Israel, or these Israeli hostages, were not treated badly as people may think. In other words, they had it made in the shade. And some of these people, one guy had to dig his own grave out of emotional torture, Jason. What in the you-know-what is wrong with the minds of the media, man? These people are evil. They're as evil as Hamas to me.
They're absolutely evil. They're just absolutely demonic. It's funny that Israel's two biggest enemies throughout the Bible was media and Persia. And, of course, Persia is today Iran, right? As of 1935, right? So it's just kind of funny that we have Iran who funds all this and media today who covers for them throughout the world and blinds people's eyes through lies. So what are the odds that all through the Bible, media and Persia, and today we have media and Persia? That's
true. It's the two things. Do you think that, I heard President Trump today, first of all, what did you think of his speech to the Knesset, Trump's speech itself? What was your thoughts on that?
I thought it was outstanding, but did you see it the one time where the Arab, because they have Arabs on the Knesset,
and they got kicked out. They did.
Did you see that where he held up the sign protesting and they ran all over him and got him out of there?
Trump said that was pretty efficient. I was laughing so hard. It was early in the morning. I was laughing when he said that was pretty efficient, But go ahead.
Yeah, well, yeah, and so of course, going back to the. These liars, these politicians and in the media, they call Israel an apartheid state. Well, I promise they have Arabs on their Knesset, their government. There are no Jews on the Arabs' governments. I can assure you that.
Oh, I can assure you that too. I can assure you that too.
Yeah, so please spare me the apartheid argument.
Well, spare me also the fact that the Gazan people tonight are the victims in this, and now what's happening, and I do feel for what's happening there, Jason. There is actually a genocide going on tonight. The last 3 or 4 days, Hamas has been going through Gaza, executing anybody they thought had basically cooperated with the IDF. And the media, I don't know about you, brother, but I ain't seen one protest in Nashville. I ain't seen one protest in New York. I ain't seen one protest in Minnesota. I ain't seen one protest at Harvard, Yale, Columbia. None of these Ivy League schools, none of these big name schools, Stanford, UCLA. I've not seen one person today hold a sign up and says, "Stop the genocide." I saw something today that says, what is these people that have been screaming free Palestine going to do when they have to give Trump credit that's free Palestine tonight? What are they going to do, Miller?
Well, they're pretty quiet today, aren't they?
They're very quiet. It's amazing.
Yeah, and that's right. And what did I say that Hamas means? It means
Violence.
what? That's right. Silence and violence sound a lot alike to me.
They do.
Silence and violence. Violence and silence. It's amazing how close those two words sound, Chris.
Yep.
And I think we're seeing that today. By the way, did you know that the word silence and license have the same letters?
They do.
So the whole world, all these Ivy League schools and all this, you're exactly right. Not one protest, not zero.
Well,
and they're completely in silence today, and silence gives violence or Hamas license.
Well, and,
silence and license.
And Jason, what it does, it shows you the hypocrisy of it all. It shows you the fraud of it all. That it was never about peace. It was never about a genocide. It was never about the Gazans. It was about Israel. They hated Israel, and they wanted to make sure whatever Israel did was shown to be evil and wicked, when Israel was only defending itself from something that was wicked and evil. And that's the hypocrisy of this nation. Many, not all, but many in this nation are nothing but hypocrites when they do stuff like that and believe. And people that post stuff like that are nothing but fraudulent hypocrites to me.
You're exactly right, Chris. I couldn't have said it better myself. My goodness, that's exactly right.
That's why we need to do the Mac and Miller show more often, man. We could get all these nursing home folks, at least the nursing home people who listen to us, Miller. They wouldn't be able to go nowhere.
I know, right?
We should go on a Mac and Miller tour to all the nursing homes in America and tell the nursing homes we'll be their entertainment, because that way they can't go anywhere and they can't throw tomatoes at us and they can't, spit on us and all that. It'd be pretty fun, wouldn't it? We need to think about that, man. Hey, listen, buddy, I'd keep you forever, but I know you got to get some rest. Come back with me again this week when you can. I so appreciate you more than you'll ever know, man. Love you. See you soon. Thank you for your insight to this, and I'll be in touch with you. Thank you for coming on tonight, okay? God bless.
Always love you too. Always remember, why did God name his chosen nation Israel? To show the world he is real. He is real. That's right. I've remembered that, and that is so well said, my friend. Listen, be safe over there, and bless your little daughter and all your wife and all of the family, and give them my best. Give your mom my best. We'll see you soon, man. God bless. Yes, sir. You too. Jason Miller, everybody. Put some fire in that house for him, and I am so grateful that that's my buddy. He is my friend, and so forth. Listen, we're going to take a break tonight. I got a ton of video, but I'm going to do a late night show where I can sort of regroup and get some video together. I've got some video already, and we want to show you that tonight. I tell you, it's been a very emotional day, a very, very emotional day in the Middle East, without a doubt. And some of these videos, folks, has just been gut-wrenching. Make it just tear at your heartstrings to watch the reunions that have been going on. And this is, I think, the one today that got me the most. I'm pretty sure this is it. I'm going to download this right here, and if it's not this one, we'll play it later tonight. But this, I believe, is the well, that's an image. That's not it. That's not the video I'm looking for. I thought we downloaded it, but I guess we didn't. We'll have it for later tonight. We will have it later tonight. I do want to show you this. If you don't think England has gone bonkers and berserk, this is a police officer telling somebody that they can't sing church hymns on the street. One video, we'll talk about this more tonight too. This is what's coming to the United States, folks. We're going to keep entertaining the devil, keep entertaining Israel's enemies, keep propping up her enemies, and her enemies are going to become ours.
Roll tape.
Religion you're allowed to do anywhere.
No, miss, you're not allowed to sing church songs outside of church grounds, by the way.
You're not allowed to sing church songs outside
Outside
of
the church, or church songs or church
You're not allowed
grounds.
to.
That's fine, that's
You're not
fine.
allowed. She just said you're not allowed to sing church songs outside of church.
Our church outside the church grounds, unless you have unless
That's
you
a load of rubbish.
authorized by the
You're
church to
allowed.
do this kind of song.
He's not saying anything anymore.
Are you saying that you don't care about the Human Rights Act? You're lost?
That was an expletive that the wonderful police officer, you can't sing hymns now outside the Church of England. I know we gasp at that and we, ooh, oh my God. Folks, the same people that perpetrated October the 7th, that's Sharia law. You don't do nothing outside the realm of Islam. And Islam has taken over England. And Sharia law is just about taking over England. Starmer law has taken over England. I don't know about you English folks over there, you Brits, but y'all got to be a dumb bunch to have put this man in power. It must be in the water. Must be in the water. There are a lot of dumb bunches out there that put a lot of dumb leaders in power. All righty. I wanted to ask a few questions tonight. I will save the poll questions for later. And good to see everybody. Somebody said Chris is wired up. You ain't seen me wired up. You ain't seen me wired up. Chris has been mild. Chris is mellowed out. Chris is mellowed out. What are you talking about me being wired up? You ain't seen me wired up. Lord have mercy. But I will say this tonight as I close this first show out tonight, folks. Listen, it's a good day for the world. And I don't want to start saying negative things because I want this to be positive. I've got a lot of questions about this peace deal, but my heart is absolutely happy and totally excited tonight that these hostages have come home. And I want you to know that tonight. And our prayers for the nation of Israel and Bibi Netanyahu, President Trump, deserves a lot of credit. He's the Nobel Peace Prize winner in my book. And Pat and Deb Dolan posted earlier tonight, blessed are the peacemakers. I'll agree with that. I just think we need to understand that this peace that's being made is not going to be a lasting peace. It will help in the short term curb a lot of violence in the Middle East. And as long as President Trump's in office, I do believe he has the power in his ability as president of this country and the respect that he's gained overseas that he can put a stop to a lot of this. I do not see Israel trying to do anything to stop this and try to create something that would break this peace. If the peace is broken, it'll be broken by the Arabs. I do predict that. And I do predict that something is going to happen to cause that. I do not believe it will be Israel. Now, of course, that's my opinion. Chris is entitled to his opinion. I think this is the McFiles still. Yeah, that's right. It is. And I'm sorry. Oh, I am getting so mellowed out in my old age. I don't know what. I'm laughing at myself. Branco had me in stitches before the show. He said, man, I messed up. I said, why you messed up? He said, I can't put a cartoon in my head together for this stuff. And we had a good laugh right before the show came on. He was good tonight, wasn't he? Him and Miller both, man. I tell you, we've had two good guests on this Monday night. But you got me late. Now, I might be wired up late tonight because it's just going to be me and you, and the kids will be into bed. So I hope that you will come back and be with us. You will come back and be with us sometime tonight, and we're grateful that you're here tonight. May the Lord bless you out there, and grateful to see everybody. And if you enjoyed Mr. Branco and you enjoyed Miller Put Some Fire in That House, come back, be with us. It's 9:15, probably around 11 o'clock tonight. We'll keep you 11. We'll take your questions and comments then. And Elaine, I've got my dad would be turning over in my grave too, his grave, if he knew that we were bringing a foreign powers Air Force over here to fly out of do joint exercises on American soil. My dad would be turning over in his grave too. I get it. But listen, God bless you out there. God bless your families, and God bless this great nation of America. I'll see you back here at 11 o'clock for our late show. It'll just be me for now. Unless I can pull some hobo off the street. that has nothing to do but come run his mouth tonight. But this redneck will be with you late, so come back and be with us then. Until then, McDonald out on a Monday. Put some fire in that house. It's been a good night tonight, man. We've had some good discussion tonight. Branco, Miller, and Mack. Hostages home. Historic moments. Prophetic time for the Middle East tonight. We'll talk to you more about it later tonight. Have a good night, everybody. Be blessed out there.